Hello, English 111 students. I just wanted to try to explain a few more assignments. I have emailed students this text of the script, so it's not easy to teach through video or teach through email or teach through Canvas, so we'll try everything to answer your questions. There are specific points I need to address for English 111 progress, and I called this on my notes overview of the assignment. So I do need to talk about essay assignments, rhetorical patterns, which are the way we control types of information. There is a quiz on rhetorical patterns, which I normally give in the classroom, so I did paste that right into the notes. I wanted to mention some extra credit essay topics. Sometimes an essay assignment doesn't seem logical or easy. Substitute a different type of essay, but essay writing is important, and essay instruction on how to write essays is also available online. So I did provide some links to instruction on essay writing in case students have a 0 on an essay and do need to make up the 0 grade. The class activity grades also I need to discuss because if we were in class, I would ask you to do practice exercises or practice paragraphs, and that is part of your participation grade. So you either get 100 or 0. I need to give you more of those. Otherwise, you can continue to write journals for practicing, or you could summarize any article in the book as a practice activity, which is meant to show that you made the effort to read someone's essay or research paper, and reading a good quality essay should be helpful in exposing you to strategies that you can use in your own writing. The next point is the research paper assignment. Students may or may not have done research papers in high school. They may have done them, but the teachers didn't grade them carefully. So usually in college, students write so many research papers. I would make the suggestion that you can write about the same topic as a research paper assignment in another class. However, if you're submitting that paper to Canvas, that will show up as a matching. And so teachers do check matching, so they don't want their students to copy someone else's paper. If you wrote one paper for English and put it on Canvas and one paper for another class and put it on Canvas, it will show up through Turnitin as a matching paper. So I would suggest talking to your teacher, sending your teacher an email. Hello, I would like to use the same topic for your research paper as I'm using for my English teacher in my English research paper. So if they know about it, then they will disregard the matching if it is your own paper. The last essay is cause and effect, and I did make some notes in the script for the essay. Usually students are tired by the end of the course. However, if you write a personal essay, you can give your own reasons. And so reasons or results or a mixture is a type of delivering information that people normally use. And so I did have a humorous example that I've always used for students. I got a DUI. What happened? Daddy took away my car keys. I had to beg for rides. I was humiliated. People didn't trust me because they thought I was irresponsible. I had to put forth a lot of effort so that I could earn people's trust again. Fortunately, the person that wrote the paper mentioned that no one was hurt, so there were no physical injuries or deaths in that, which could mean, a tragedy. But, what is the consequence of making a mistake such as getting a DUI? And The other example I use is some students want to study a major that the parents don't want to pay for. I know, my friend's nephew wanted a degree in psychology, and his parents said, no, I'm not paying for a psychology degree. I will pay for a business degree. Well, he was really interested in psychology. He tried to do the business. He never finished. So you have to justify sometimes the reason that you have made a certain decision. And so I use that example always. You can try to generalize to people instead of writing a personal essay. Today, many people are studying, cybersecurity or computer science or criminal justice. There are very popular majors, and it's not just one student, it's many students. And so these degree programs are very popular. I don't know if you're familiar, but the oceanography degree at Old Dominion University gets a lot of international students, and it gets a lot of students from all the states because we have rivers, ocean, lakes. We have so much water in Virginia that the oceanography degree program is very good. And so, why would you come to ODU to study oceanography, or why do people come to study oceanography? So that is two different tones. One is I and one is people. And so one is a personal type of essay and one is a academic type of essay. So to talk about essays, the cause effect is the last one. Following that, I have mentioned that you are asked to do a portfolio. Portfolio is proof that you took the time to look at your papers when you got them back and you corrected the mistakes. There could be mistakes in format, there could be a mistake in the structure, there could be a grammar mistake, but taking the time to correct your papers shows that you have looked at the comments instead of disregarding them. So you learn best from your own mistakes. You learn how to prepare the next essay well. So for the portfolio, you can attach your corrected papers either to Canvas or to an email to me. And so I can see that you have made an effort to correct your papers. Normally, I would collect a paper folder with your original and the corrections. But I'm not there, so I can't take your folder. I do apologize. Okay, so we did 3 essays, and if you look at rhetorical patterns, the types of writing are narrative, visual analysis, and argumentative essay. And those are 3 different types of writing. And so the hope is that practicing essay writing in English 111 will prepare students for unfamiliar writing assignments in the future. If you know how to plan and set up an essay, then you can also plan and set up a writing assignment, which is a little different, given to you by a psychology, biology, or history teacher. So it does say that we are trying to prepare students for future classes when we give essay assignments. On page 2, I did give you a website for a lesson on rhetorical patterns. You can Google for all kinds of lessons if you type in rhetorical patterns. And I posted a quiz in the notes. If you can identify rhetorical patterns, it will make you a better reader, a better speaker, and a better writer. What type of writing is it? Giving an example. What type of writing is it? Comparing two things, explaining the reasons. So we use those types of writing not just in isolation, but by combining them in everyday academic life. All right, so I did put a little note there, extra credit, essay assignments, descriptive essay. another visual analysis essay, argument essay, and comparison contrast essay. So I'm not sure which one seems easy or difficult for you. Technically, an administrator will say, oh, it's an essay. They can do it in 1 hour. And I know that it's not easy for students to sit down and write a 500-word essay. But I have seen my students write it in 30 minutes. And it may not be the best essay, the first draft, but to save your grade, sit down and write your essays and turn them in so that I can evaluate them and post your grade. Class activity grades. I found some activities which I typically do in the classroom, focusing on MLA. And so Modern Language Association, this is the organization in English which controls what teachers teach and students learn. And so if you type in MLA.org, they have their own website and they have their own teaching materials, but I call them the gods of English because all of a sudden they've changed the rule, and then all of us have to conform to what they have decided everyone should do. So we are doing MLA 8. The documentation and format was changed from MLA 7 to MLA 8. Some teachers are still adjusting, some students are still adjusting, but if you are searching for instruction, please search for MLA 8 because this is the most updated guidelines for preparing papers. I gave you websites for MLA 8, and I am trying to find .edu sites because educational sites are less likely to be biased. They're not making money off of students, and so the teachers are posting those informative lessons. So you can look at those websites and write a brief summary. If you're learning MLA, of course, you can read what's in the textbook and summarize it. Tell me what chapter you read and summarize the chapter. But sometimes students find it easier to look at their electronic sources. That's why I found the websites. The research paper, I'm asking for 3 to 5 sources. You are combining your ideas with the ideas in the sources. So you are balancing quotations and paraphrases. Paraphrase is putting the information in your own words. I know I've written research papers, find a bunch of quotations and glue them together. It's not the best quality paper. It's not easy to read. It doesn't flow like it was your own words. And so a mixture of quotation and paraphrasing is the best for a research paper. Teachers do warn students not to put too many quotations. There shouldn't be more than 20% of the word count in your paper. So like I said, gluing quotations together is not really a research report. If you plan how to explain the topic, you are the teacher of the moment, I put in my notes. So you are explaining the information and telling why it's important and going from the first important point, the second important point, to the third and the fourth. So your key points should be the body of the essay to build up with your main idea. Okay, so I am warning students that your research paper for English 111 doesn't have to be perfect. Ideally, you get it back and you can see what mistakes you made so that the next paper will be better. For those students who've never written a research paper, it is a big job. And so I have taught it teaching students to write 3 essays and glue them together and add quotations. And that works for some students because if you have 3 ideas, it's as though it were a whole essay. Then you move on to the next point, write another essay about it. Then the third point, write another essay about it. And then you've got 6 pages. So that's really one way to look at it if you break the assignments apart. Okay, so in one semester, students are doing a lot of research papers, so studying how to put a research paper together is important. I did paste in a time schedule, and if I am at the beginning of a 16-week semester, I do ask my students to put in their planner. Um, you know, what topic do you want to do? What is your research question? What are your sources? Writing the draft. And so if it's in your planner, then step by step you can write a research paper less painfully than it would be if you sat up all night doing the paper the day that it was due. And I know students do that, and I've done it myself. So I put the steps in with the date, so you can put your own dates in the future to plan research papers in each class to make sure you don't do a bad job on one paper because you have 3 and you want to do well on each of them by breaking the assignments down and making a plan. Okay, so I did put the page numbers for the research paper in the textbook. We've got 2 different editions, the pink book and the red book, and so the pink book is the 5th edition. You've got quite a few chapters on how to write a research paper. And students today would much rather watch a video than to read a chapter in a textbook. But you can rely on your book for being a good teacher. It is good to just jump right ahead to the example of a paper. And I do like this paper about Harry S. Truman. No one expected him to win. And they even put in the newspaper that he lost. And so how did he change from being a loser to a winner? And the student wrote a history paper about the election. And so that paper was a really good example. If you read that paper, I would ask you to write a summary. That will be a class activity, and it'll prove that you took the time to look at a research paper in MLA and look at how that student wrote the paper so that your paper will be easier to write. The cause-effect essay, I did explain what I've already said. Usually you can do 2 to 4 reasons, answering the question why, or 2 to 4 effects, looking at the consequences, or you can mix reasons and results. You don't want to have too many reasons and results because you're writing a book instead of a short essay. I gave some example topics. Why is it necessary to go to college? Or why do people drop out of college? Or why do people want to have a history degree? And so you can brainstorm those. If you look at people who have a college degree, people do not have a college degree, then some people might want their children to go to college because they could have a professional job, they could have a job with regular work hours, they could have benefits such as retirement, vacation, bonuses, company car, travel. Students give me a lot of different reasons why they prefer a professional job to a labor job or a minimum wage job, which really does not plan for the future. It doesn't value the employees' input and always give them a promotion and a better job condition. And so positive consequences of having a college degree. You might earn people's respect. You might meet more professional people. You might establish a career. Your career might give you a possibility of advancement, promotion. Of course, we know that in the real work world, it doesn't always happen, but those are the hopes that people have when they spend the time, money, and effort to get a college degree. The keywords and transitions are important. I did give you a list of those. If you Google on the computer keywords for cause-effect writing, you will find charts of those keywords which emphasize your reasons and results and make your writing more powerful, because the reader will pay attention when those keywords appear. All right, so because it's almost the end of the semester, students are stressed. They want to know if they're going to pass. They want to know what grade they're going to get. And so the portfolio and the final exam are important assignments, which I tried to explain. The bonus questions I pasted right into the notes, and so you can write a paragraph or you can write an essay. I do get some very good answers in describing the good way to write a research paper, how to be successful in English 111, and the third question was to design a syllabus. What do you think students should be doing in the class? Because mostly all colleges require students to take 2 writing classes, academic writing 1, academic writing 2. And so what are students supposed to be reading, writing, thinking about when they're investing that time in 6 credits of their college life? I did put a little paragraph about being successful in English 111, completing the class successfully. We do know that it's very difficult for students to be remote students. And so, watching a video or looking on Canvas or studying the book by yourself, it seems like teach yourself. But we did have a good start in our class, and I tried to repeat types of assignments, reading essays, writing summaries of essays, looking at examples of student essays or professional writing to try to look at the strategies that students can use. Writing is stressful, so if you have a system or a writing process of completing a writing project, it should be less stressful, it should take less time, you should be more comfortable by having a system of planning, writing, and improving your papers before you turn them in. So I do hope you like the videos, but you can also check the 2 videos that I planned for positive thinking. The psychology of learning. How can writing students be positive about learning to write? It's very difficult because most students want to be perfect. They want an A. And they're not likely to accept, well, I'm not an A writing student. How can I be an A writing student? The purpose is to improve, to get better from where you were so that you can record your ideas successfully and to accept your mistakes and learn from those mistakes. And so professional writers are not perfect either. They develop their writing through their whole career, and they make big changes in the way that they write. So I would encourage you to look at the positive thinking videos about accepting the fact that it's difficult to be really good at writing, and it's difficult to have a teacher look at your paper and grade it. So you don't want to admit your mistakes, you don't want to make any mistakes, but it's just the way it's going to be. And so, if you really don't like any of your essay grades, you can write a new essay. I will replace the grade with it. We are at a point where there's very little time, but if you view an essay as a 1-hour project, then starting with 1 hour and then trying to improve it, you might be able to catch up and get a better grade or to be happier with the product that you've produced. So I did say if you want to summarize the video, there are 2 different videos, 12 to 15 sentences. What do you think about being a stronger writer, following the natural process of learning how to write or learning anything, and accepting that making mistakes is part of the process? So I hope you will watch those videos and find a positive message in there. All right, so the final exam is 2 or 3 paragraphs, and so it is repeating the types of writing that we've done, but also looking at a couple of alternatives. We may not have done those types of writing, but you use them in everyday life anyway. And so I did say there's a list of questions which were actually composed by my students, and students write very well because they pick their own topics, and I just type them all up, and every semester I get some really good stories or paragraphs or essays from them. So take a look at the notes and email me your questions. I am behind, trying very hard to download essays and grade essays and post grades correctly. I feel like I'm living on the computer, checking email, but I do want you to be successful and move on to English 112. And I hope that students are making a plan what to take in the summer and what to take in the fall, so that you will complete your 2-year degree at TCC or move on to another college. Some students study at TCC for 1 year and move on to a bigger college. Everyone makes their own decision. So building up your transcript with completed courses is the goal, and I want you to add English 111 to the list of classes that you have completed. So email me if you have questions. Thanks for listening, and take care. Bye.